Coming up next on Columbus Connection, the Samarc Foundation's second annual Boys and Girls Bi-City High School Basketball Awards Luncheon is coming your way. We're going to talk about it. Welcome to Columbus Connection. I am your host, David Britt. And if you didn't know, the Chattahoochee Valley is an area of amazing athletes in many different sports. Many have gone on to play pro, and I have one with me, but not only is he a former professional player, he's been on national championship teams. He's bringing on that next film of wonderful high school talent. None other than Mr. DJ Jones. Welcome back.
Hey, DB, what's happening, man?
Nothing much, man. How you been doing?
Man, I've been fantastic.
Now, the last time you were on the couch, you was right. You were actually going before Georgia went to the SEC championship, lost that, but then they went to the Nationals, and you are a big part of that. You brought Coach Saban down. So I'm saying that to say you've always been a big supporter and a big pillar in our community of high school and collegiate and on sports talent.
Well, we're just proud to be able to put something together for these young student athletes, man, because it was so important when we were growing up here. Dale Williams and I were growing up here in the community. So it's just a blessing to be able to not only put something together, but to just honor these coaches and student athletes.
Yeah. But now we're talking about basketball. The second annual, excuse me, y'all. The second annual, let me make sure I say it right, Samarc Foundation Boys and Girls Bi-City High School Basketball Awards Luncheon.
Yeah,
Tell me about it.
It's great, man. Obviously, not only is it an opportunity to put something together for these student athletes, but also to work with a couple of colleagues, man. Sam Mitchell and Mark Upshaw, two extraordinary basketball players in their day, back in the 80s, actually late 70s and early 80s. But I was a competitor. I was at Carver. They were at Columbus High School, but we had mad respect for each other. And now these guys, it's just the perfect story of these young men growing up in East Highland. And of course, blossoming into the world that they're in now. Obviously, Sam is not only a former NBA player, former NBA Coach of the Year, but also now an analyst on NBA TV. Mark is a successful businessman. And again, it's just wonderful to be able to bring these guys back home through their foundation, the Samarc Foundation, and show these kids that, if it can happen to us, it can happen to them.
Yeah. And what does it mean for those kids to be going to that awards luncheon and really have their talent really spotlighted? Because you guys don't just spotlight one or two kids. You really focus on the different areas, the offense and the defense, and so many players really get their time to shine and get their roses while they're able to get them.
Absolutely. And again, a quick story about how this all started. Obviously, 17 years ago, actually 14 years ago, we started the football luncheon. And of course, it built momentum over the years. And now it's this big deal that attracts the top coaches in America. And it didn't just start yesterday. We're 2 years in with Sam and Mark's Samarc Foundation. This is their charitable organization where they come home and, of course, they give back to the kids in the community. And they've been doing this for about as long as Dale and I have been in business. And, of course, I know I helped them put their first Sam Mitchell Dream and Achieve Youth Basketball Camp together. And we had it up at Columbus State for about 6-7 years before I went on and did some other things. But came back into the fold a couple of years ago with these gentlemen, and they had seen what we had done on the football side with the awards luncheon. They saw how we honored the female athletes of the year. And these two basketball guys were like, hey, is there anything going on for the basketball kids in the Bi-City? And I told them, hey, no, it's a perfect opportunity and for them to, to put their money where their mouth was. And again, they did that. And I appreciate that. Now the second annual will be on March 17th, 11:30 down at St. Luke Ministry Center. And Mark and Sam will both be here. And again, we will be honoring the top high school basketball players, boys and girls, in the Bi-City.
It is so awesome to see women's basketball really getting the respect it really deserves.
Yes, it is. You know what, we talk about it on the Sports Talk radio show often, here in the last couple of years, is that, we've seen the women kind of catapult the boys with regards to going off to major colleges and that type of thing. And it's amazing. I mean, the young ladies have really done well the last 5, 6, 7 years of developing and, of course, going on. We have a number of young ladies that have gone on to play Division I college basketball, and we even have an Olympian. So, I mean, this is
Yeah.
great. Not to say that the guys aren't doing well, it's
Right.
just that, again, the women have, I mean, they're producing D1 prospects, man, at an enormous rate.
Yeah. Now you, Sam, Mark, and of course we can't forget Dale.
Right.
You guys, like you said, you guys have been doing this, and you came up in a time where these things weren't here, where you highlight so many kids, and you guys came up in a time where this wasn't there. How did you realize how important these kind of events were for our young athletes?
Well, I first want to say that Dale and I both acknowledge the fact that, it was this kind of event that really helped us, again, to get a pat on the back, to dress up, to go to an awards luncheon, to have someone to tell you, call your name up, you go get your award, the name, or at least you hear your name called on the radio, you see your highlights, on the news on Friday nights. But that all played a part into, of course, helping us to become the guys, or at least the athletes that we were. And you know what, when we started this business back in 2004, Sports Visions, Dale and I, a lot of that had gone away. And the newspaper, of course, was doing still a tremendous job of letting everybody know who the top players were. But the actual events where you go and you put on your Sunday best, and of course, when you have an opportunity to get your name called, walk out there on across the stage in front of your peers, and it just adds a little extra something. It's just, I mean, even as an adult, even you like to be told you for a job well done every now and then. But that's what we wanted to bring back. That's what we're starting to do. We started again with the high school football luncheons, and it's just taken off. The Female Athlete of the Year Awards Luncheon that will be next April the 21st, that has come on. It'll be in its 7th year. And then now Mark and Sam stepping up. And this will be the 2nd annual, and then again, we're just excited that we're having an opportunity, because at some point in time, we're going to have an opportunity to not only do these that we're doing, but we have, we got golf, tennis, soccer. There's a plethora of things that needs to be done, and we're tasked to do it.
Gotcha. Now, how can the community help support y'all through this event?
Well, first and foremost, obviously, I'd love for them to attend these events. I mean, I go to a lot of stadiums and gyms, and I don't see the community out there, but I would love for them to be in the stands, because that was always another concern of mine, not so much for Sports Vision, but when these kids are playing in these schools in the Bi-City area. They need to support them more than just the parents. We need the alumni. We need the former teammates on those that play for those schools to come out and support these kids. It's huge. But as far as Sports Visions and the Samarc Foundation is concerned, you'll see it on the screen. We'll have, of course, our respective websites and, of course, our email addresses, and we can get it done that way as well. Gotcha.
What kind of awards and what kind of things are you all highlighting in this foundation?
Well, in addition to the 14, 15 high schools, and again, we don't want to get this twisted with the football deal, because it's taken us, 14, 15 years to build up to have 27 schools in not only the Muskogee County, Phoenix City, and the surrounding areas, but with the Bi-City deal, we started with Mark last year, and Sam with the Bi-City schools, the schools right here in Muskogee County, and a few other private schools. And we started with the boys last year, but we added the girls this year, and respectively so. And there's about 14 schools. So we'll have the MVPs of the boys and the girls, and the coaches basically select those and send those names in. And outside of each one of the respective schools, boys and girls teams being represented by an MVP at the Samarc Foundation's High School Football Awards luncheon, we take some specialty awards as well. We have the Sam Mitchell Coach of the Year. So the very best coach that is selected, or at least voted on, and he's awarded there. We have the Mark Upshaw Most Valuable Player, so the best player in the city. And of course, we have a couple of sponsors, Synovus as well as TSYS. It's not TSYS anymore, but they have some awards that we stand out. But one of the other great awards that we have is the Grant Williams Award for leadership. And again, he is a player that grew up in this camp as a young toddler, but now he's a major player with the Boston Celtics. And of course, he comes back, or at least he basically wants to stay attached to these guys. He comes back every summer to the camp, but he has an award in his name. And then we have the Calvin Smyrie Legacy Award, which is just tremendous.
Awesome. And that's the great thing, is because it gives so many sponsors an opportunity to really be a part of it, and it really brings out just greatness in our city. We've seen what's happened with the football awards, and the Basketball Awards, when Sports Vision and Samarc teams up, you know it's going to be something awesome for the community.
No doubt indeed. But again, I'd like to just take just a second here to acknowledge my partner, Dale Williams, who is, of course, is still very much in our hearts and in our prayers with regard, and we hope that you continue to do so. Again, the GoFundMe page is still out there, and you know, it's continuous because he still has not been able to walk, and we will hope that you would consider Dale Williams supporting prayers. Go to GoFundMe and just type in Dale Williams supporting prayers, and you'll see all the information on if you care to support him.
Oh, absolutely. Dale Williams, again, he's one of you four that have definitely been instrumental in so many people's lives, not just sports, but just using sports as an avenue to just achieve great things in other areas. Yeah. Now tell me about Grant Williams.
Well, again, Grant grew up in the camp. Believe it or not, he's a superstar in the, actually, we call him our superstar, but in the NBA. But he's, this is his third year, I believe it is, going with the Boston Celtics as a former first-round draft choice out of Tennessee. A lot of people might know the name of Grant Williams, but they don't associate him with Columbus, Georgia, and the Samarc.
We got a good number of professional football players,
right?
But folks didn't realize that we got an NBA player too.
Absolutely, Grant and his dad Gil was bring him and his brothers down to the Samarc camp years ago. And Grant, what Grant did was he grew up in the camp, found himself, realized that football, basketball was his calling, and from there, man, he just catapulted into the ranks. He is a former two-time SEC Player of the Year. And again, as I mentioned, the first-round draft choice of the Boston Celtics several years back. He's in the lineup now, and he's doing quite well. But a lot of folks didn't realize, but he started in the Samarc, Sam and Mitchell Dream and Achieve Youth Basketball Camp right here in Columbus, Georgia, many, many years ago.
Awesome. Now tell me again, what can the community do to support this event?
Well, first and foremost, I basically look at you can get in touch with me at, of course, the Sports Visions at 581 North Oakley Drive, 31906 Columbus, Georgia. The phone number is 706-681-1136. Or you can go online and contact the Samarc Foundation directly. And of course, that website and all that will be on the screen, as well as the Sports Visions information.
Awesome. And keep in mind, when you support them, you're supporting athletes. And you're not just supporting athletes, you're supporting young kids doing wonderful things in schooling and going forward. This is the Samarc Foundation's second annual Boys and Girls Bi-City High School Basketball Awards Luncheon. Is taking place Thursday, March 17th, 11:30 a.m. at St. Luke Ministry Center.
Absolutely.
All right, and we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. This is Columbus Connection.